Hello, everyone, and welcome back to HTF Bets, your live Thursday show here at Hitting the Field Network. Usually we try to get pretty diverse with our shows, but we are about halfway through the college basketball season. So we're going to relate back to our preseason conference winner predictions, see what the status is on that, and give us your new conference champions for a couple of the conferences. Stay with us. It's a very college basketball heavy show, and it all starts now. Hello, everyone. Welcome. As always, I'm your host, Tyler Caron. Joining me are my guys, my best friends, my biggest rivals on this show. We got Riley Shepard, we got Johan, and we talking a lot of college basketball today, boys. You can see the smile on my face. It's every week my game of the week has been college basketball, and there's a reason behind it. I'm a nut, and I can't wait to get started on this very college basketball heavy show that we have today. And what better than a top 10 Pac-12 matchup to get us started? We have number 3 UCLA going to number 7 Arizona tonight. This is the second time that these teams have met this season. Arizona comes in as a 7-point favorite, over-under set at 147.5. Johan, we're going to start with you. Ooh. Let's go. Well, who you got in this one?
You know who I got in this one. I got Arizona. I got the Wildcats, baby.
That's the problem.
No, that's not a problem. That is the answer. Listen, the last game, which was last week, was a fluke. I don't care how much they lost by. It was a
16,
fluke.
75-59.
16.
And let me just remind you, that was 9 days ago.
No.
9 days.
No.
9 days. Last Tuesday.
Listen,
9 days.
They're undefeated at home. They're going to stay undefeated at home, and they're going to pull off the upset. Benedict Mathurin is going to have a monster game.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have over 21 points.
So he's not going to shoot 5 for 22 from the field like he did in the first matchup?
No, he's going to shoot 10 for 22, and he's going to win. Okay. And Christian Coloco is going to be a double-double machine. I promise you this is going to happen. Arizona is going to stay undefeated at home, and UCLA is going down.
Well, I do agree. I think Christian Coloco is one of the more solid pieces to Arizona's offense. I think in that first matchup he finished with 11 points, 7 rebounds. He's not going to be the X factor in this game. I don't think Riley. Who are you thinking? I know you're UCLA. Give it to Johan. Just give it to Johan.
And you know why? No. You know why UCLA is going to come away with the W is because of their defense. Their defense stepped up huge. It was a close game the last time at the Pauley Pavilion. It was 16-14 at one point, which is hard to believe. Mm-hmm. And then UCLA's defense just dominated from about the halfway point of the first half until the end of the game, and they held them to less than 25% shooting. They had 8 blocks, 7 in the second half, and I mean, you talked about Benedict Mathurin. He struggled mightily. That might have been the worst game he had this season. Mm-hmm.
But 5 for 22. Kirk Carissa, 0 for 12. Dalen Terry, 0 for 5. I mean, UCLA was just everywhere. They were forcing Arizona to use the entire shot clock and then just to get something up at the buzzers to avoid the turnover.
You guys are just haters. I'm just telling you right now, listen, Arizona has to block the lanes to prevent easy points in the paint against UCLA. I'm telling you right now, Christian Coloco is going to play a much bigger role in this game. He's averaging 3 blocks. He's pretty much their defensive anchor. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to win. They're going to stop Johnny Juzang. They're going to stop Jaime Jaquez. They're going to stop them. I'm telling you.
I think this. If Arizona does win, it won't be by 7. I'm still taking UCLA plus 7. The UCLA money line is at 250. That's something you definitely want to look into because going back to that last matchup, Johnny Juzang only had 15 points. He didn't shoot great from the field. Jaime Jaquez only had 10 points. So that's where I think both those players creep up to 25-20.
They didn't even need them to. And here's the bet to take is not only money line, it's the spread. UCLA is 11-6 against the spread this season, plus 7. If they do lose, which I don't think they're going to, it's gonna be a close. We'll see. If they do lose, it's not going to be by more than 7. So UCLA against the spread is the bet to take, absolutely.
All right, that's our opinions for this. Again, tonight in Arizona, UCLA goes to take on the Wildcats, number 3 versus number 7, primetime showdown. Now, that was a lot of fighting that we just did, so we'll transition into some other fighting. We'll give Johan a chance to actually win in an argument on today's show.
My gosh.
So we have UFC 271 this weekend. Jack Hermansson going up against Sean Strickland. Strickland comes in as the -210 favorite with Hermansson at +175. Pretty close odds for the fight this weekend.
Yeah, pretty close, but I don't think the odds really reflect how the fight's really going to turn out. Sean Strickland is on a 5-fight winning streak. He is the number 7 ranked middleweight in the UFC right now. And I think that he's just on a roll, man. He has some of the best boxing in the middleweight division. Not only that, but he just had an impressive victory in his first main event against Uriah Hall. Went 25 minutes, didn't look tired at all. So I think he will be able to go the distance if he needs to. He's close to becoming a title contender in that. But Jack Hermansson did not have an impressive performance against Edmund Shabazian in his last fight. But what he can do is wrestle, and that is Sean Strickland's weak point. So if he's able to take this fight to the ground and use his grappling, use his jiu-jitsu, use his wrestling, he might pull off the slight upset. But I don't see that in this matchup. I think Sean Strickland is going to win, and he's going to extend that winning streak to 6.
No, and I'm going to disagree with you again. I'm sorry. But look, Hermansson has probably the top grappling in the middleweight division, if not one of the best. And like you said, that's Strickland's weakness. But the bet to take is absolutely for it to go the distance. Both of these fighters have probably the best stamina in the middleweight division. Over 4.5 rounds is the bet to take. I think it's at 115, -115 odds, and that's easy money in the bank.
Well, I think Jack Hermansson, when you talk about Jack Hermansson, yes, he has great, wrestling and stuff like that. But the problem is he has some horrendous striking. And Sean Strickland has very good takedown defense. I mean, granted, not against the top level wrestlers, but he has a solid defensive repertoire. But I'm telling you right now, he's going to pick him apart on the feet. Jack Hermansson is super immobile. He's super stationary on the feet. If he's not able to, check the legs of Sean Strickland or anything like that, then it's going to be a long night for him.
And if Strickland can get, into his boxing, which he's a great boxer. He showed that in the last fight against Uriah Hall. That went to the 5th round and he won on a decision. But if he can get to the 4th or 5th round and break down Hermansson, this could be a quick fight.
I don't think it's going to be a quick fight. I don't think Sean Strickland has the power, but I do think if he continues to take punishment, he can stop it.
So just to recap all of that, Johan, you're taking Strickland.
I'm taking Sean Strickland in this.
And
I'm
Riley,
taking Hermansson.
You like Hermansson.
He's taking the wrong person.
I kind of side with Johan on this one, just from track record. But Riley's been showing up, talking about his UFC, breaking it down with Johan. We're going to go back to college basketball now. That's enough UFC for today. From here on out, it'll pretty much be all college basketball. And there's only one game, I think, on the slate for over the next couple of days that is more impactful and more important than the potential Pac-12 championship in UCLA and Arizona tonight. And that is, we have the best rivalry in all of sports. We have number 9 Duke going to North Carolina this Saturday, 6 p.m. Unofficial spread. This is my spread. The spread is not out yet. Duke by 7.5. Over under that I set, 147.5. Carolina undefeated at home this season. They are favored 141 to 114 in the total matchups versus Duke. I'm gonna let you guys talk about this first.
Look, I agree with you. The magnitude of this game is huge. This could potentially be Coach K's final time traveling to Chapel Hill to play UNC. This is a 40-plus year rivalry that we've seen. Like you said, UNC is undefeated at home this season. Hubert Davis has done a great job in his first season. We've seen some struggles, especially on the road, but their big three of Brady Manick, Caleb Love, and RJ Davis has been huge. They're arguably some of the top three-point shooters in college basketball. They're all shooting right around 40%. But Duke has just been dominant. We've seen how big they've been. Their only 3 losses this season have been by a combined 8 points. So I don't think UNC has a chance, but we'll see.
Listen, man, UNC sucks. They are unranked. They got
Talk
taken
about that.
to overtime by a disappointing 11-10 Louisville team in their last game.
Wait.
Wait. They're 1-3 against top 25 teams this season, and the win was against Michigan, who's also doing very horrendous this season. And also, baby blue is a very ugly color. The fact that you
Oh
like
my
that
God,
too
Carolina's been
Baby
voted the
blue-
cleanest jerseys in
Baby
the
blue's an
tournament,
ugly color.
like 3 years
solid
in a row.
Blue, now, solid blue's amazing,
Now we're
but
talking
baby
about
blue.
all
Oh my
colors.
God, we're
ugly.
talking about colors.
All right. Are you ready? I want to touch on that Louisville game because I watched the entire second half and overtime of that game. L. Ellis, who also had a very good performance versus Duke and was the sole reason why they lost by within a single digit margin to Duke, I believe, a couple weeks ago. L. Ellis, he made 4 threes in 5 possessions. So that's how I want to talk about that. But you know, I grew up a North Carolina basketball fan, and this is Duke Hate Week. So, you know, I had to bring out. Come on, John was cute with the USA scarf. I'm going with UNC in this. I don't care what the spread is. I might even take the money line. Throw out everything that you know about spreads this season, about records this season. All that is out the door. So don't listen to these dweebs. Don't listen to them.
Oh,
this is Duke Carolina basketball. Okay, both teams coming in winning 4 of their last 5. Carolina won both matchups last year. These are my key points for Carolina. AJ Griffin has been maybe the best player for Duke the last couple of games. Now, he's certainly not the most talented. He has been one of the best players. Leaky Black has to lock up AJ Griffin.
And he's not going to.
He's 6 of 7 from 3 in the last 2 games. Leaky Black, he's everything you want in a defender. He's long, he's lengthy, he can really harass Griffin. Caleb Love shoots 45% from 3 at home. He's going to make at least 3 threes, and Brady Manick will go for 20. So, go Carolina, Duke Hate Week. We don't care about those Dukies. That's all the time that we have for segment 1. Stick with us. We'll be right back to talk about our midseason conference winners predictions.
I'm in charge of the meeting this week. So you know what we're going to talk about? Basketball. The second thing we're going to talk about this week is basketball. Okay? And the third and last thing we're going to talk about is basketball.
Yeah. God, dude. It's ridiculous. I want to quit. Can I quit? Take that.
Look at the screen. What are we talking about this week?
Basketball.
Welcome back, everybody. We are now going to talk about the mid-season predictions for some of the Power 5 conferences so far in college basketball. We've seen a really drunk college basketball season, in my opinion. We've seen a lot of number 1s goes down. We've seen some crazy upsets. There is nothing better in college basketball. Might be a little biased, but this is my favorite thing to do, is give you some lines, give you some stats about college basketball. So we're going to start with what is maybe undoubtedly the best conference from the last 2 seasons. We're going to go to the Big Ten. Right now, standing atop the Big Ten, Illinois, Michigan State, Wisconsin all come in at 8-2, and then the preseason favorite, Purdue, comes in at 7-3. Riley, who is your Big Ten midseason conference prediction?
Look, I just want to add on to your point. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to March, and that is the best time of the year. The Big Ten, you know, in the past few years, especially last season, we saw 7 teams in March Madness. This season, it's a lot more top-heavy. It's pretty much the top 4 and everybody else, like you touched on. Illinois is really impressing me. They dominated Wisconsin last night. Kofi Cockburn is arguably the best player in the Big Ten Conference. And, I mean, he dominated last night with 37 and 12. It's Illinois and Purdue for me. They play against each other on Tuesday, and I think that'll give us a lot better picture of who really is the top dog in the Big Ten.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. I do think that Illinois and Purdue are the top 2 teams. When you look at Michigan State, haven't had a chance to watch a ton of Michigan State this year. Tom Izzo, from everything that I hear, he is one of the top candidates for Coach of the Year once again. And then Wisconsin, they're not consistent enough for me, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm going to go with Purdue as my midseason conference winner. Largely due to Jaden Ivey, him or Johnny Davis from Wisconsin. I mean, the Big Ten is loaded with elite guards. Jaden Ivey might be the most elite. He's crafty. He can create a bucket off of the catch or off the dribble. He gets inside. He gets defenders in the air. And he's just a bucket getter. If you need a bucket, you get the ball to Jaden Ivey. He can dish it off to open shooters, or he can attack the rim. His athleticism goes through the roof. He can dunk over anyone. He attacks the elbow strong. And then you can't forget about Zach Edey, who is the second best big man in the Big Ten behind Kofi Cockburn. I still give that credit to him. I think Cockburn has a really good shot at winning Big Ten Player of the Year. But I just don't think there's any team that can go position to position with Purdue this season.
And you didn't, I mean, Travion Williams as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another one. Purdue might have the best front court in the country, arguably.
And not only that, they are the third best three-point shooting team in the nation, the best out of the Power 5 schools. And I think that's very crucial because you said it already. They have arguably the best backcourt in college basketball right now. I think that you have to have Purdue as the favorite in the Big Ten.
So no Wisconsin from anyone.
No. And it's Purdue. I mean, it's Purdue and Illinois for me. I mean, their last game went to double overtime, and they play again on Tuesday. That's going to be the next couple weeks for college basketball are going to be really exciting. That's going to be one that, I mean, I'm going to be glued to my TV for.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin can be sneaky, and they're certainly not my pick, but they are 3-3 versus top 25 opponents, and they've picked up some really big Big Ten victories this season. At first, it was just the Johnny Davis show. Right. Brad Davison, Tyler Wall, those guys are starting to come apart and come along. So I could see Wisconsin maybe possibly making an upset, as well as Indiana. Trace Jackson-Davis is also up for Player of the Year. Moving on to the Big 12. All right, we've seen Kansas and Baylor. They've been the top two guys so far. Kansas comes in at 7-1, Baylor at 7-2. Johan, who's your pick for Big 12?
Well, originally when we did this, I had Baylor as the team to come out of the conference. But a couple games had made me think otherwise this season. So I'm going to go with Kansas. And I think that Kansas has one of the top overall teams in college basketball right now. I mean, they're very experienced right now. They are pretty much well-rounded in the front court and in the back court. I really love Christian Braun's play. I mean, he's a really good slasher. I really like his play. He plays really well on the inside. He's really strong on the inside as well for a guard. I have to say Kansas in this one.
Yeah, they have been, I think, the best team so far. They're 25th in the country in assists. That's what really sticks out to me is they move the ball like no other team that I see. They play as one. They had Remy Martin, the transfer from Arizona State. You thought he would be the starting point guard. He has taken on the six-man role behind the sophomore DeJuan Harris, and Harris leading the team in assists. He's a big contributor to spreading the rock. So I'm not going to go with Kansas. I'm actually going to go Texas Tech. I think we've seen some really big upsets from Texas Tech so far in the Big 12. First-year head coach Mark Adams just got an upset, or not an upset victory, but a big victory versus one of his very good friends and his old head coach, Chris Beard, at Texas the other night. Texas Tech came out with the victory. I think a big slap in the face to Chris Beard. I like Texas Tech coming through with the upset for the Big 12.
Well, it's a good thing Kansas already beat Texas Tech.
They did in a double overtime game. I don't have to worry about your prediction. That's a double overtime game. We're going to touch on.
That's a double win.
The ACC. We're going to move on to that. Riley, is it Duke?
It's Duke and then everybody else. Miami, I will give Miami this. They're a very experienced team. Between Cameron McGusty, Isaiah Wong, and Charlie Moore, they have a combined over 350 collegiate games played between the three of them. Two of those guys are in their sixth year of college basketball. And the one thing that can bring an upset to life is experience. And, Miami has the ability to upset anybody when it comes to March, but it's Duke.
Right. And like Miami just lost to Notre Dame last night. They showed flashes early on. They were the best team in the country, or like the hottest team in the country at one point. Not the best team, but they were voted team of the week by the NCAA. And so that's where we've seen flashes. I don't think they make that later on. I still think Duke. I'm not even going to pick Carolina, but Carolina hasn't won since 2016. Duke has won it twice since then. I think it might be time for a new champion in the ACC, and I think that could be Carolina again.
No.
Well, you're the only one that thinks
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Well,
Have fun in the 9th seed, buddy.
a little bias. All right, now we're going. If any of you disagree with me, then you're just straight out wrong. The SEC, I think, has been the surprise conference so far this season. The SEC has been loaded. You have a team like Auburn, who 9-0 in the conference, they lead. They come in 21-1 so far with their one loss coming in the battle for Atlantis about 3 months ago in a double overtime shocker versus UConn. Yeah, they are the most dominant college basketball team that we have seen this season. They're the most consistent. They have the young buck stud in Jabari Smith. That's one piece you need to make a tournament run and a conference tournament run. KD Johnson and Wendell Green Jr. They handle the guard play unbelievable. They spread the ball around. They spread the love. You have Walker Kessler, maybe the biggest, the newcomer of the year to the SEC, averaging 4.5 blocks after he was terrible in my system at North Carolina last year. But I'm going with Auburn. I do think they're not going to finish the season with one loss. They will hit another speed bump, but they will come away with the conference championship.
I don't know. Look, Kentucky has arguably been the hottest team in college basketball. They dominated Kansas last week, and we've been seeing their bench play really come alive. I mean, Davian Mintz dropped 21 last night against Vanderbilt. I mean, it is Vanderbilt, but like anytime you can get a big play from your bench, it's gonna help you out a lot down the stretch especially against tough opponents. I gotta go with Kentucky. Look, Ty Washington, Kellen Grady. I mean, those guys, they're the stars. But once you start getting their bench play involved, it's gonna be hard to beat the Wildcats.
So I figured out what's going on. Riley is giving Auburn the Gonzaga treatment, where the hottest team. Auburn has won. I think it's close. It's 17 straight games now, and they are at home in Auburn. There is no other place to play, and Bruce Pearl is the coach of the year. Not only in the SEC, I think he is my overall coach of the year. Are you also going with Auburn?
I'm going with Auburn.
Okay.
I'm smart. I'm a smart guy.
Then we're going to go on to the Pac-12. Here again, we talked about it earlier, the two favorites. You have UCLA coming in at 8-1. You have Arizona at 7-1. You also have USC in the mix.
Nah.
No,
We're gonna put them to the side. We'll put them to the side. They're irrelevant in this conference right now.
They're irrelevant. They're a top 25 team.
No, I don't care.
No? Okay.
It's between UCLA and Arizona's going to be on top.
So, okay, is it just going to be the top two teams in every conference are going to play in the conference championship?
No, just in the Pac-12.
Just in the Pac-12?
Just in the Pac-12.
You know, I actually agree with you on that. I was just trying to get you off a little bit, but I do agree with that. I'm not a big Pac-12 basketball guy.
I am.
UCLA and Arizona, they are the only two teams that I am even slightly interested in watching. USC has caught my eye a little bit, but then you get guys like Washington and Washington State, and it's just a sleep fest. So I have UCLA winning out the conference.
I do as well. They're going to dominate Arizona when they match up again on Saturday. It's UCLA.
Yeah, I agree. UCLA. So again, two UCLA guys, and then in Arizona to win the conference and to win the other night. But college basketball, UFC. So that's fine, you take his UFC advice, but in this college basketball heavy show, you want to listen to me and Riley. That's all the time that we have for segment 2. Stick with us. We've been keeping up with our surefire bets throughout the season, and we have some new ones for this week coming up next.
Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce like regularly?
No. It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
The Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing that, I'm going to let you finish, but no one will know what this with.
Nitros, dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is nitro thick?
I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
Welcome back, everyone. We have now hit our Surefire Bet of the Week segment. This is the second season that we've done. We did it last semester. It was a new segment last semester, a new piece last semester. We're really focusing on it a little bit more this semester. I'm currently sitting at 1-2. I am at the bottom right now after being at the top by a large margin last semester, reminder.
That's not good.
Johan sits at 2-0-1, and Riley is our undefeated man at 3-0. So we're going to let Riley start with the Surefire pick of the week.
My Surefire pick of the week. We don't do player props very often, if we've ever done them before, but we were talking about UNC and Duke earlier, and we talked about AJ Griffin. AJ Griffin is probably the best shooter in college basketball, shooting 50% from three. That's unbelievable. So I'm going to go with AJ Griffin over 2.5 threes against UNC. He's hit over 5 threes in the 7 games that he started. He's hit over 5 threes twice in those 7 games. So 3 is going to be easy for him. He's going to have a great game against UNC, over 2.5 threes.
Riley, okay, so I was gonna agree with you, and then I looked up his stats. He's averaging 9 points. You're telling me he's gonna get 9 points in this matchup?
3 times 3 is 9. So
yeah.
yes.
Okay. You think so?
That's in Riley's defense. AJ Griffin is the hottest shooter in college basketball right now. I don't know if he's the best shooter in college basketball right now, but he definitely is the hottest. Like I said, 6 and 7 in his last 2 games. He was 5 for 5 2 games ago. But Leaky Black is going to be all over AJ Griffin. Leaky Black might not score a point, but his impact is going to come on the defensive side. He's going to play probably about 36 minutes, and his only job is going to be no touch on AJ Griffin. And they might be switching off ball screens, and Carolina bigs, I think, can combat that. But
he might have 0 points, and he's also not going to be effective in locking down AJ Griffin.
He's going to lock it out. Johan, give us your Surefire.
Listen, Premier PBC Boxing. Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios. This is Keith Thurman's return to boxing since 2019, since his loss to Manny Pacquiao. I think Keith Thurman returns to boxing with a dub. I think he's going to come back and he's going to reign upon the welterweight division once again.
That's good. That's good for you, Johan. I believe you. I agree. I like the pick, Johan. I'm going to get back to my specialty here. I'm going to go, after I just talked about how Pac-12 basketball isn't really my thing, I'm going to go to it, and I'm going to go with USC tonight. Johan needs a second. Johan, you good? We need to get medical assistance out here. All right. USC, they play at Arizona State tonight. They come in as a 5.5-point favorite. I am slamming that 5.5 points. Arizona State, 6-12 overall. They're 9th in the Pac-12. They're 7-9-2 against the spreads. They have a negative against the spread. They just played USC within the last 10 days and lost by 22. Now, granted, that was at USC. However, 22 points, and you're only giving them a ranked team a 5.5-point spread against a 6-12 team. It's nonsense. Arizona State's only 4-4 at home. They were involved in the worst college basketball game of the season a couple months ago when Washington State came to town. It was a 51-29 total. Arizona State really put up 29 points. And USC just had a bad loss for Stanford last Thursday. They're not going to have another bad loss like that in such a close time, in my opinion.
And listen, when you lose to a team like San Francisco, I mean, you deserve to lose to USC by that much. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of a scary spread, but I don't care. I'm sticking with it. It's way too good. I'm throwing my life savings on it. But that's all the time that we have for this episode of HTF Bets. Hope you're listening. A lot of college basketball with a little bit of fights, a little bit of fighting between us. We hope you entertain you guys for 30 minutes every Thursday, and we hope you're winning you some money. So that's all we have for this week. We'll see you next Thursday.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap.